Hello and very welcome at my Atari ST nostalgia trip. This is my first video, very first video in the series even. And today we are going to have a look at King's Quest II on the Atari ST. Now, King's Quest II Romancing the Throne is a graphic adventure. It uses Sierra's AGI engine. And we got our Atari ST early 1986 when I was only 11 years old. And back then we didn't have any manual or description. But lucky for me, the game introduces the story and goals to the player at the beginning, so that's very nice. One thing we also didn't have was a color monitor at that time, especially when we got this game. But lucky for me, when Sierra ported the AGI engine to the Atari ST, they actually included support for the Monochrome high-resolution mode. And that is exactly the way I played it back then. Now this port has some good things, it has some bad things. I will get to that when I'm playing the game. On the ST, this game is played from 3.5-inch diskette, which meant I had really annoying loading times between screens, because you could not just copy the files to a hard disk or anything. Later I had a cracked version. We still didn't have a hard disk, but I solved it by copying everything into a RAM disk of about 500 kilobytes, and I used the other 500 kilobytes as memory to use to play the game. But right now I will be playing the original version, so at this time you will have to live with some loading times, unfortunately. Now let's not stall anything further and just play the game. As you can see, I am in monochrome mode. Let's start it up. Now, if I want to use drive B for saving and restoring games, I can press B. I will do it. Unfortunately, in this emulator, the save game option doesn't really work. For some reason, it gives a disk error when I try to initialize a disk. But I will show you, because the save game option in this version is just hopelessly complicated. It's totally unnecessary. I don't know why they did it. And I think it's also the only Sierra game on the Atari ST that has this complicated system. Now, what it also had is support for joystick. Do you want to use one? Yes, please, I would like that. I won't use it all the time, but actually it's mainly because... Oh, that's the wrong disk. Hang on, let me swap the disks properly. Alright, like this then. Because actually using the joystick is quite useful. Now, as you can see, the graphics on Monochrome, but not very high resolution. It still uses the same 160 by 200 resolution, unfortunately. And for all the text, it just uses the Atari ST's default font. So, Sir Graham is now king of Daventry. Under his wise rule, Daventry is prosperous. He is loved by his people. Unfortunately, there is a problem. King Graham needs a queen for companionship and to provide an heir to the throne. And we can hear the wonderful three-voice music here. And of course, when a man feels lonely, what he does is go to the magic mirror. And I'm wondering if Graham can actually see anything in this mirror, because I for sure cannot. Yes, it shows a beautiful girl locked within the tower. Graham now knows what to do. Well, I think what he needs to do is buy a color monitor, probably, because that girl doesn't look too pretty to me. But this is the way I played the game back then, and I promised myself, if a game is available in monochrome, I will play it in monochrome. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. And it also has its charm. I mean, yeah, the screen had high resolution, but the only two colors it could understand is either pitch black or bright white. So it had to emulate all these grayscales by using black pixels in certain patterns. Or white pixels in certain patterns, actually, to sort of show... Oh, let me just move a little bit here, because it will go back to the intro screen. Now, as you can see, there were not many patterns to actually make his face or make the grayscales work. So if I'm walking on the beach, his face sort of disappears into the water, which is sort of complicated. And let me just check. I should put my joystick in the right port. And of course I should be able to use the joystick, which is handy. I will also change the speed to fast. And when using the joystick, you can use the fire button to swim, which is also quite convenient. To be fair, it's not very convenient to keep using the joystick in this way. But if you are walking like stairs or ladders, it's actually quite easy, because if I press a button to go, he just keeps going. And for instance, when I go down and go to the next screen, which takes a while to load, of course, he just keeps going. Which means if you walk somewhere and in the next screen there's like a chasm or something you can fall off, you have no time to react and you will just instantly die. However, if I use the joystick, I can walk with the joystick. If I let it go, he just stops, which is sort of convenient. Yeah, as you can see, let's see, now he's just walking and he just fell into the water. Now, like the PC versions, you can also use the equal sign, to swim, or you just type swim, because apparently Graham can't really think for himself. You need to tell him what to do all the time. Now, as you can see, there seems to be not much to see here. So I'm very lucky that when I say tell Graham to look, he actually says there's a pretty clamshell lying on the sandy beach. Now, out of experience, I know it's right here, but yeah, in the monochrome mode, you couldn't really see it. So this was quite a difficult game back in the day when I was so young with this kind of graphics. Wow. Okay, let's get it and get the bracelets. That's not how you spell bracelet. And yes, even if you look at objects, it has to load them from floppy disk. So, well, it looks like it would fit for small wrists. And it is a circlet of diamonds surrounded by beautiful blue sapphires. Well, if you say so. And then I can press return to continue. I mean, apart from this monochrome mode, the game is actually completely similar to the IBM PC version. It's just that the port is kind of lazy, and yeah, there's not much going on in the screens in this game anyway, so which means it doesn't experience real slowdowns. But there were other games with the same engine that actually, yeah, you had slowdowns because the port was kind of lazy. It didn't really take advantage of the speed the Atari ST actually had in its processor. Now, again, here I can actually see something. It looked like a stick, but apparently it's a trident. Now, I will not completely play this game to the end because the video will get way too long. I just want to show you the save game feature. I think it was, yeah, exactly. Oh, this is a restore. Hang on. If I want to save something, I press F7. No, this is restart. Sorry, F3. Now, you could not give a name to something you save, so you have to have a, like for instance, I want to save it under A. And then it says, okay, you put your game save in and you have to use an init disk command. I think this one won't work because there's no drive. I didn't even have a disk in the drive. And yes, that's actually, you sort of have to type this command inside the game, which, come on, for people who don't have experience with computers, only with games, this is way too complicated. So, okay, you get a blank disk. It apparently will try to format it himself. It again says, okay, remember, you will initialize this disk, so all the data you will lose. So you really need a dedicated save game disk for this game, which I don't see why they did that anyway. Now it's trying to format the disk. This will take a hell of a long time, and for some reason it doesn't work. And this might be some emulator problem or anything, I don't exactly know. But yeah, it takes a hell of a long time. So if I want to save games, I will probably just have to use some save states using my emulator in this case. But I have no idea why they put this overly complicated save game feature in the game. I can't remember. See, now it says it has an error and it won't save, which is just a bit annoying. But yeah, I can't remember any other Share game that had this kind of save game feature, even on the Atari ST. So they probably realized that it wasn't a very good idea, and I've completed the circle of the world in this type, so I will just go right from here. To show you part of the beautiful landscapes that are... Now on the PC version it will describe like you have some beautiful trees in the forest of Colima. Here it just says you see nothing special. It says the same when you're playing in color, so it's not just some joke about the monochrome mode. See, it's really... I have to look at the house and then it really says something. But apparently I have to tell him that the mailbox is here and open it, yay, and get the oh, let's get this basket because we know we will need it when we run into Little Red Riding Hood, which I truly remember. But as you can see, it doesn't look that special in monochrome. It's playable, I would say that. But would I keep playing it in monochrome? Well, for nostalgia's sake, yes I would. But if I really wanted to do a new playthrough of this game, I would probably just switch to color instead. Because, yeah, this gives some nice nostalgic feeling. But that's really it. Now let's just go in and pray, and then... So he even keeps going when he's running against the altar, like... He looks like he really has to pee or something. And the monk doesn't answer. Okay. Well, I will join him in prayer then. Okay, now the monk has noticed me. And he stands and asks my name. Now, I really have to type my name, Graham, here. Because he recognizes my name and he will give me a cross to protect me from evil. Now, back in the days, I had no idea what evil it would protect me from. I do remember... When I played this the first time, I thought, okay, it protects me from evil. I don't know what evil, but let's just wear it just in case. Because it will probably protect me from anything. And I'm not sure if it protects you from anything else but the vampire, Dracula, further in the game. See, he just kept going. I was almost going to the other screen. Yeah, let's just see if we can find Red Riding Hood. But then I think I should not make these videos too long, because this is more about how I feel about this game now that I see it back in the way I played it the first time, and not really a playthrough or any instruction, because there's plenty of them around on YouTube. But man, these loading times also get so annoying. And he just keeps walking. Maybe for good measure I should actually close the mailbox. No. Now I know it's either this screen or the screen on the other side of the house that Little Red Riding Hood will show up after a while. As far as I know, there will not be any enemies or anything to kill me. But yeah, in playing this game in Monochrome is sort of how I remembered it. I did like the game, but it didn't look that good. It was difficult to determine if there was any object of interest lying somewhere. But it was one of the very first games I played, and the game itself I still like. I have some special relationship with it. I don't know what it is. It's maybe the connection with fairy tales, or the first time it was an adventure game that just also showed where I was, and it was more interactive, because I never really liked text-only adventures. I had to, I don't know, fantasize too much about what was going on, and I had to remember the text that was telling me what was going on. And apparently Little Red Riding Hood doesn't want me to be here, so I mean, she doesn't care if I'm here, but she's not coming. I think I will just end the game by killing myself, by going into the ocean, and then call it quits, because I think I've seen enough. I still like it, but I think, yeah, as Shera conversions for the Atari ST go, this is probably not the best one. I think later King's Quest versions, and especially also like Space Quest, they looked a hell of a lot better, even if they suffered from heavy slowdowns. So Shera wanted to buy or sell some of this game on other platforms, but the ports they did were kind of lazy, to be honest. So I'm too far out to sea. I have no chance of ever getting back, so he'll just let me drown. And Ken and Roberta Williams wish to thank me for playing King's Quest. Well, you're welcome, I guess. And they are very sorry that I did not succeed, and I hope I will fare better next time. Well, I hope so too, because I actually did finish this game when I was younger, but it was in color. It was quite some time after we had the game. There was some stuff that took out, yeah, we had to figure out. It was quite difficult. We got stuck a few times because we did something that made the game unwinnable. Yeah, which was something Shera Games did, and many people have already complained about. For now, I will say I did enjoy looking back at this game. I will probably play it in color for myself. Just play it through it one more time for, yeah, just for memory's sake. But for now, I think this will be the end of the recording, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. See you next time.